All right, good morning, everybody. One more week to go, and you can tell it's getting close, and we're getting near the end of session because this morning's environmental call went all the way to seceding from the union. So um, we'll try to keep it a little more tame on this one. Let's start out with our bills. As reported last week, it's passed out of the House and has been in messages to the Senate. The Senate has it on the special order calendar for Monday. For those who aren't familiar with the process, what's probably going to happen is on Monday, they'll lay the Senate bill on the table, take up the House bill. They can do it a couple of ways. When they do second reading, when it's on the special order calendar, that's usually they explain the bill and take questions on the bill if there are any, and then they roll it over to third reading. And third reading is when they debate and then they take the final vote. Normally that happens like it would second reading be Monday and then it would come back up on Tuesday for third reading. With a bill like this, there's no opposition, there's no amendments. It's clean, it's good to go. They could just take it up Monday and just waive the rules, roll it to third reading, and go ahead and vote on it and be done with it Monday. So I hope that's what they do, but we'll see next week. Move on down, Amanda, to the next two. Okay, 287 is actually what I'm looking for, Amanda, the next one. All right, so that bill, and I need to look this up. Derek, could you pop that up real quick, see what happened? Last night when I put this report together, it was still just showing it on the calendar for yesterday, but didn't indicate that the vote had been taken yet.
It rolled to third reading last night with
Did it?
amendment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Melissa. Okay, so this is the one that last week I reported with all the liability language that we didn't like was taken out of the bill. An amendment came up this week that puts some of that language back, but now also gives immunity to the design engineer in addition to the contractors. So I spent probably about an hour and a half talking with Kurt earlier this week, and he says, we'd rather have that language stricken, but this is kind of, and I think even Dave Wantman said innocuous, that, it takes a finding from the judge that you have immunity and all that. So it really doesn't move the bar all that much, but according to Kurt, it's better than what we currently have in law. So we didn't oppose that just and let it go on. There were a couple other minor amendments that were put on the bill yesterday. So I think we're all good there. That bill should pass out probably then today if they rolled it to third reading and be headed over to the Senate. I still kind of up in the air, as to whether this bill will actually pass or not, but we'll see. But we're in good shape on it. Another one that's passed is House Bill 149. That's the bill that increases the threshold for construction under continuing contracts to $7.5 million and then indexes it so that it'll increase according to the CPI each year. And that's all over in the Senate now, waiting for them to take action. Just scroll that down there to the bottom there. And so, yeah, so that's the Senate bill is on the calendar for Monday, or no, for today. As you can see, we've got a lot of these moving. I think I took one bill off of this report this year, added a few along the way, but most everything we started with is working its way through the system. Alternative mobility funding, that's in Senate messages as well. It's been passed by the House, and it is on the special order calendar for Monday. Feel free to jump in if anybody has any questions on these.
Hey, Alan, this is Derek. On the bill you just spoke about, that bill is still in limbo. The speculation is that Senator Harrell is going to amend her draft language onto the bill that's in messages and send it back to the House.
Okay.
So that bill although it's postured to competency pass, it may end up dying just based on competition amongst the sponsors themselves. Just want to put that on the record.
Right. So what's Harold got to do? It's the bill's by Martin, isn't it?
You said advanced. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the education bill. You said advanced capability. I'm sorry. Oh no, you're talking about. Never mind.
I'm having trouble hearing you, Derek, but I'm talking about 688, the alternative mobility funding.
Disregard what I was saying. I was talking about the education bill. Can you hear me?
I can now, yeah.
I'm on 910, so I'm sorry. Disregard what I was saying. I was talking about a different bill.
Okay. Okay. All right. So that one looks like it's poised to go, the 688, or probably be well, which bill are you saying is going to bounce back to the House?
Talking about the aviation bill, the Banks and
Oh, okay.
Harrell bill.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. That's coming
Yeah.
up in just a second. Okay, man, we can scroll on down. So the sovereign immunity bill that increases the cap, that moves the cap from 200,000 to 400,000 under sovereign immunity is now on special order in the Senate. In the House, it still has one more committee. It still has a Judiciary Committee. So I'm not sure. Derek, do you have any insight into that one? Is it? I know the cities and counties are fighting this one hard.
Yeah. All indication of this bill is moving out of courtesy for Broder, but it's really dead. What I've
Okay.
been told is behind the scenes is that Speaker D. Perez and team have gotten involved, all but the halt to bill. So it purposely did not get heard in judiciary, and he's rules chair, so they have not been letting the bill get up. So what I've been hearing is the bill is dead.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's good. We didn't really like it. It increases the liability on CEIs, especially acting as agents of the government. So, and I thought that was, it looked like it might be in trouble. The fact that it hasn't gotten out of its last committee yet in the House. So, okay, so we can move on, Amanda. Okay, the 1032 still has one more committee to go. We don't have a whole lot of interest left in that bill, except for we just keep an eye on it because it is transportation and could be a vehicle for an amendment. But that was the one that had that abolished the Transportation Commission. That language has been taken out. So, and I know again, cities and counties don't like the MPO language that's in there. So it looks like it's in a bit of trouble too. And the House bill was TP'd yesterday. So that's not a good sign for this bill either. Derek, you guys are okay with this next one, right? It's kind of one I'm just watching again, just because of the area that it's addressing, but don't have any great interest in it at this point unless they amend it. Did pass, out of its use. I think you told us before this bill is priority of the governor.
Yeah, I've been talking to Lita about this bill regularly, but it's poised to pass. It's actually already
Okay.
passed the House. The Shane Abbott version is already passed.
Right. So yeah, they didn't show in the, on the website that it had been, sent to the House yet. It still has it kind of tied up in committee, but I'm sure it'll move that way soon. And then 1301 is the companion bill there. That's already passed the full House and is in messages to the Senate. So it does look like that one's poised to go. And then here's your aviation bill. So you're saying
Yeah,
that
I was just sharing that there's been bickering between Bankston and Harrell.
mhm,
I was told last week is earlier this week that Harrell may actually amend her language onto the Bankson bill, which has already passed the House, and then
Right.
bounce it back to him next week. That bill may end up dying just out of infighting amongst the sponsors.
Isn't that that's a priority of the governor as well, right? I know it is of
Well,
FDOT.
exactly. No, it's. I mean, there's like Orlando Airport, Tampa Airport, love to see it. DOT would like to see something take place, but you know, it's been a challenge to kind of get these guys on the same page. So,
Uh-huh.
what DOT's told me is they actually have some kind of internal authority to do some of this stuff already.
Mm-hmm.
But having something in law would be helpful. But you know, they're hesitant about what Harold may or may not do. So next week's gonna be really telling. If she amends her language onto the bill, Bankson may not accept it when it comes over.
Okay. And so if he strips it off and sends it back to the Senate, what do you think Harold would do? Let it die?
Hopefully, she just takes it, right? I mean, that's what I think
Right.
the governor's office will get in. No one
Well,
really knows why she's been
Yeah.
combative.
So Derek, yeah, it's JW. I was going to ask, is there any specific thing that she wants in there that Bankson's not willing to do?
It's great job, JW. It's the whole fight is over the advanced air mobility stuff. How it's going to be handled. You know, they have the task force gave recommendations. Bankson's bill, he believes, really basically codifies in law the recommendations. Harold's made some changes to how it's enforced. Unfortunately, I don't have it in front of me because I'm driving. And she just Bankson feel like she's just been difficult to work with. DOT's a bit frustrated because it really shouldn't be at this point. One of the arguments is that she really wants the bill to be in her name and not in Bankson's name, but Bankson's already passed his bill out, and so I would argue from talk to the industry people who really are pushing for this bill. They told me they can live with either version. Since Bankson's bill's already passed, just get it to the governor and be done with it all. But Harold's been dug in that she doesn't like how Bankson's version is reading. And again, no one really knows what that means because she really hasn't given a lot of detail. So they are nervous that she's going to amend the bill and send it back. And Banks is kind of telling them that he's not going to accept her language. He's going to send it back to her. So it may be one of those, last day of session, late hour, bouncing back and forth bills. I think the governor's office will weigh in if she tries to do that and kind of have the Senate president stop her. I think they want to get this bill done and get it across the finish line.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I know it's a priority for the governor and the department. So, okay.
well, while we're there, because I don't have this information on this report, but we did find out in the budget, and it's been agreed to by the House and the Senate, they are going to take $250 million from the Transportation Trust Fund and use that to fund some of the local projects that the members of the legislature have brought forward. So just be aware that that's there. I spoke with an aunt for a while late yesterday afternoon, and basically what they're saying is, look, we gave you guys $4 billion last year. You're getting 650 million more this year. And you're going to complain about $250 million for projects that your members will be doing. And, that's kind of yep. Well, I had to say something. Somebody complained, but have a nice day. And, so
if I can touch on that too, I got a phone call on Wednesday from Lita about that same airport. The airport, it's the aviation.
We're losing you, Derek.
10. How about now?
Still kind of iffy. Yeah. I'm not hearing anything, Derek.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Well,
Derek, if you can hear me, if you can call me later, I'd like to go over that with you.
Hey, Alan, this is Melissa. Do you know if part of that 250 million is going to be used to fund the proviso language on the roads, the farm to market roads within the Everglades agricultural area?
I don't have any specifics on it. I just know that, it came up yesterday that $250 million was going to, it just said, it was just told to me member projects. So I don't have the details on specific projects. And it could always be that, once it goes to the governor, he has line item veto in the budget, and he's been known to nix local projects in the past. I mean, that dynamic between him and the legislature is very different now than it has been, but that possibility is there as well. But for now, both the Senate and House have already okayed this in the conference committee, so it's going to happen.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm
Helen,
just
can you hear
curious
me
if
now?
that,
Yeah, there you are, Derek.
Hey, I'm sorry, I mean to cut anyone off. I just want to share that I got a call from DOT on Wednesday. They called me because we represent the airports, and the Airport Aviation Development Program is funded out of the trust. DOT is actively calling lobbyists who have clients that get money out of the trust fund, letting them know that they're not favorable to what the House and Senate have agreed to do. Neither is the governor. And all indications, DOT didn't tell this to me, but indications from the governor's office, they want those projects solely out of GR, the trust fund. Going to be giving indication the governor may veto all those projects if it's funded out of the trust fund.
All right. Well, we got two exciting ones anyway. So we'll keep an eye on that next week and see what happens and we'll report back next week what the final resolution on that is. All right, we may have to wait for the governor to take action, but we'll keep up with it. Okay, the next couple of bills deal with the licensing issue. It should be right. It's coming up on both sides today. It'll be interesting to see. There's as I've reported, there's a ton of organizations that are against these bills. They're not the same, and they've got some work to do to get them, identical or close enough. And Senator Collins, at least on this issue, and don't take this as an overall comment about him, but on this particular issue, he's very stubborn. He wants what he wants and really isn't willing to deal on it. And Representative Placencia, has some different ideas. So this is one to watch. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to come down. What most groups, we're not specifically, 471 is not specifically in this bill. I've talked to Zane. I've asked her, is there anything else in the bill other than the part she doesn't like? And she told me no. So this is the one that, if our board, for instance, would deny a license application from an out-of-state PE, it would give the Secretary of DBPR the ability to override that. And so, everybody asks the same question. So what's the board for then? If the decisions are just going to be made by the secretary. So I know one group in particular that really hates this is the realtors, and they've got a very powerful lobbying operation. But like I say, there's a number of other groups that are opposed to this, including us, and so we will keep an eye on that. It'll be interesting to see what happens today. I can tell I'm going to spend a lot of time streaming the legislative session today. So, but that'll be one that I'm specifically watching for. I believe that's it. Do we have any questions? JW, were you on the call earlier with Jeff? Because he went into that 404 issue pretty deep.
No, I was not, Alan.
Okay. Well, there's a recording of all of that, and I apologize. I told you yesterday I would send you some information he had sent me yesterday, and I don't think I did. So as soon as I walk back in my office, I'll take care of that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely listen to it.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Well, I hope everyone has a very nice weekend. Again, next week is the last week of session. So when we do this next week, except for bills that will be heard on Friday next week, we should have a lot more information on these things. And then we'll do one final call the week after that. If there's anything left to report, we'll have to see what's still up on Friday, if anything. But we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Alan.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alan.